Are you tired of making decisions that don't reflect who you are or where you want to be? Life is busy and worry, stress, trying to keep up with the shoulds and need tos, and the constant pressure to please others just pulls you away from being you and doing you. Well, welcome to Coffee with the Universe with Laura Goldstein, a coming home to yourself. As a psychotherapist, professional psychic, spiritual teacher, influential speaker, and adventurer, we'll have fun and practical conversations around how to know and listen to the soul part of yourself. During this live call-in show, Laura will engage the real you with card pulls, share guidance from the universe, and help you let go of the past so you can make choices that reflect your greater purpose to be who you were created to be. Grab your favorite cup of joe, come sit down with Laura, and let's start the journey. Coffee with the Universe starts now.
Hello, everyone. I am your host, Laura Goldstein. Welcome to Coffee with the Universe. My morning Coffee with the Universe routine is very sacred to me. It's that time of day where the world is still and quiet, and the mind is also pretty still and quiet. It's not chattering away yet. Things haven't happened that got it all riled up. So I am hoping that this show can also be a little bit of that for you, a time of day that you give yourself to just be present and to reconnect with who you are, reconnect with that intuitive side of yourself, that part of self that helps you make the best possible choices throughout the day. So with that said, today's topic is uncovering passion and purpose so that you can love what you do. We spend a lot of time at, quote, work. And I truly believe that life is way too short to really dread going to work Monday through Friday or just living for the weekend. So this show is for you if you're not really loving your Monday through Fridays right now. You're feeling a little bit bored, unfulfilled, not super creative at work. If you know that you aren't truly living your purpose, but you're not sure what that looks like. And if you just wish you knew your calling or like that thing, what is that thing that I'm supposed to be doing? Then today's show is for you. So during today's show, we are going to address a couple things, specifically what purpose really is. It's not necessarily what you've been taught to think it is. And plus, before you can uncover or find it, whatever purpose is, which we'll talk about, you need to know what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're looking for mushrooms in a haystack rather than a needle in a haystack. Although I'm not quite sure why anybody would think that rummaging through haystacks is a good use of time, but it's a great metaphor. If you're not looking for that needle, you aren't going to find that needle. We're also going to talk about rekindling your passion and some of the hangups that surround actually doing that. And we're also going to talk about how to plant the seeds for creating a soul-aligned business or work. You don't have to actually create a business. You can restructure what you're doing at work a little bit so that you're loving what you're doing. I do want to remind you that this is a live call-in show. And please feel free to call in. You might also be watching on the Transformation Talk Radio Facebook page. You can feel free to type in the chat box there. I'm going to be pulling cards to uncover messages around purpose or your, quote, calling today. Now, I want to do a little disclaimer around this. There is no way that one card can tell you what your purpose is. And I get that a lot, like people that are like, oh, will you pull a card for me and tell me what my purpose is? Purpose is not just like one single thing. So I'm not going to pull a card and like give you all the information you need. When I do this work with people, when we really dive into what is your greater purpose and what does that soul level foundation look like for you? We're talking about a 60-minute one-to-one call. There's a lot of research involved. So I want to pull some cards today if you would like it, if you're listening live and here with me. But please be advised that this isn't going to give you all the answers you seek. Now, it might give you an action step. It might help with a particular question you have around it. So just keep in mind that a single card, whether you pull it yourself or whether I'm pulling it for you, is not going to give you that full picture. So that is just my little disclaimer. Okay, enough said. All right, so let's talk about why I love talking about this. Why is it that finding purposeful and passionate work is the bulk of the business that I do with people? Well, it really stems from my own personal experience. You know how in school, like in elementary school, there are like these kids that are like, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. And it's like they know exactly what they want to be when they grow up. And at that age, I had no clue. I wasn't even thinking about that stuff. And even in high school, you had those kids that were like, yes, I really know this is my thing. I'm going to do this. And they go off to college and pretty soon they are doing exactly that. Well, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up. In high school, I had no idea. When I got to college, I have no idea. And I even think about my family. And I'm going to give a little shout out here to my brother because he said he was going to listen live today. But even my brother fell into a career path that seemed very congruent to him. So it's almost like he knew his gifts and he just went with it and he built a successful career. And I'm like, what the heck do I want to do with my life? So I went to college and I chose a degree in elementary ed because I'm like, oh, I thought, that would be easy. And I mean, essentially it kind of was in retrospect to, like a law degree or something. But I really had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just chose something. And I was really envious of those who did know exactly what they wanted to do. So I never really felt fulfilled in my career. Like I knew my senior year of college that I made a mistake and I didn't really want to teach elementary school children. And I did it for a while trying to find my way. But then I jumped from job to job. I worked a little bit in website design because I happened to be good at it. And then I went and got a mental health counseling degree, which was probably the closest to what I'm doing today. But I never really felt like, oh, this is my niche. This is what I'm meant to be doing. This is my purpose. And it took a really long time. And I didn't get the clarity I needed until I came across a mentor who did a reading for me, much like I do with others now, that gave me massive clarity around my soul level purpose, not what I thought I should be doing, not what came easy to me, because the stuff that came easy, like math, oh my gosh, there's no way I could sit behind like a cubicle and do accounting all day, but it came easy to me. So this gave me massive clarity around my purpose and gifts, as well as validation as to why all of the other, quote, careers that I chose didn't really feel right for me. Things finally clicked. So I was able to connect my professional experience and knowledge that I gained kind of finding my way and going from job to job. I guess at some point I was like, oh, I'm kind of a little bit of a flake here. I mean, I felt that way. It's hard to not feel like a flake. Like I'm just going from one thing to the next, trying to find my calling. But I was able to use all that experience and my knowledge, and especially as a therapist, to finally combine that with my interests, my personal experience. Now knowing how I best work with people in my gifts and my strengths, which actually skyrocketed my confidence, to put that all together and create work in the world that I love. And I love now my Monday through Fridays. My work feels like an extension of me. It's fun. It's playful. It's not necessarily something that I feel, oh my gosh, I have to go to work. It's just kind of like, oh, this is what I'm doing today. And the days do blend. Yes, I do have boundaries and take time off, but like sometimes Saturdays I'll do workshops and I'm great with that. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm working on a Saturday. So work is completely different for me now. And I really want that for you. So if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that too, I have a program that helps unfulfilled professionals uncover their purpose so that they can feel passionate about their work, so they can feel aligned to their work. I will share about that later, but we're going to go ahead and dive into what is purpose. What does that look like? What does that really mean? We are going to take a short break, but when we come back, what is purpose? It's probably not what you've been taught. I will see you in a few minutes.
The Finder of Lost Things, exploring your superpowers of trust, healing, and transformation with me, Hannah Velton. When my brother Christian went missing, I completely denied my grief. We can either transform and transition, or we can stay stagnant. This podcast will uncover the process that Christian and I went on to find the lost things, him, and to find the parts of me that were missing. And there's things that are missing in you that prevent you from letting go, whether it's a person, a dream, a lifestyle. That process of trusting and finding the lost pieces and integrating them. That's where you get your sustainable transition that will carry on. Tune in every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. You can find me at hannahvelton.online.
Optimize your breast cancer screening without any radiation or pain. Effective, sensitive, and widely used thermal imaging in Europe is now available to you here in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art FDA-approved camera, Eastside's first and only breast thermography clinic is now open in Bellevue. Safe, sensitive, low cost, no referrals needed. Contact Holistic Medical Center at 425-451-0404 or on the web drdarvish.com.
What we've been taught and told is not all there is. Life is all about energy, and the energy you feel is real. Tune into the Energy Paradigm each month on transformationtalkradio.com with Dr. Vic. The Energy Paradigm is an eye-opening, mind-shifting, transformative, and earth-shattering way to live, work, and do business that will enable you to unlock your magic every day. Visit theenergyparadigm.com.
Has your kindness been used against you? Are you ready to clear the confusion and reconnect with your power? Then it's time to become toxic person proof. Join toxic relationship specialist Sarah K. Ramsey as she gives you the secrets to rebuilding and rebranding your life after a toxic person encounter. It's time to get past the past, get real about the present, and get serious about your future. For more information, visit sarahkramsey.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Pat. Hey, are you loving Shades of Spirit Radio? Well, mark your calendars. Shades of Spirit goes live in a new time spot every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Yeah, you heard that right. Psychic medium Jamie and Spirit Walker Nicole, 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Live readings, giveaways, oracle cards, and lots of fun. So be there. Call into the show at 1-800-930-2819 and visit shadesofspirit.com.
Hello and welcome back. What is purpose? Before we get to that, I just want to remind you that this is a live call-in show. If you would like some guidance around finding your purpose or making some adjustments, please feel free, if you're watching on the Facebook page, type in the chat, or you can give us a call, 1-800-930-2819. 619. All right, what is purpose? Some say calling, my thing. Society has taught us that purpose is a single job. Like it's one thing. As a child, you know you wanted to be a doctor. That's your purpose. So you're going to be a doctor. And some spiritual communities will talk about it like it's this elusive, evasive thing that it's going to take a really long time to find, or we need to keep experimenting, or just wait to fall into our purpose. Or maybe this is my favorite. Your purpose will reveal itself in due time when the time is right. And I just want to kind of do a like, oh, please, because there's a much easier and quicker way. It's not like the universe is like, ooh, this is like something secret that you're not privileged to know right now. I mean, that's, to me, that's a load of hogwash. And that whole concept of like, if you meditate more, it will come to you. Well, you don't know necessarily what you don't know. So it's really not that complicated. It's not this thing that you have to like go out and search for and hunt, or like you're being punished, like you don't deserve to know right now. But we've been taught it's a single job. We've been taught that maybe it's like elusive and we're not meant to know. It's not part of our karmic path in this lifetime. Sometimes we're taught that it's to follow in, your parents' footsteps, or like continue a family business. Well, that's your purpose, to continue your family legacy. And some people even believe that purpose has to do with personality test results. Now, personality test is really just reflecting how your brain works. So yes, it's helpful, but it's only part of the picture, which is why some people can know that they're an ENFP, or whatever the Myers-Briggs thing is, but still feel incomplete after taking it. It's like, oh, okay, yes, I know this about me and it makes somewhat sense, but what does that mean? What does that really look like? So it's these tests still allow people to question, and they never really feel like they have that complete, solid answer. So the problem here with purpose is we're taught that it's like something outside of ourselves. We actually have to get something, do something, be someone in order to live and work our purpose. But the truth is, that's not what purpose really is. Purpose is essentially who you are and how you do things. It's really tied into your energetic makeup as a soul, a spirit, a divine being. Remember, your soul is the part of you that never changes. It's actually 100% perfect. It's not fearful and knows exactly what it's designed to do. What questions and doubts and creates lack and fear is our brain, like our monkey minds that run amok as we try to compare ourselves to other people. And are we measuring up? And oh, what if we fail? That's not who we are at soul level. We are not our thoughts. We aren't our mind, our emotion. Our soul is perfectly designed, but we don't really know what it looks like because we're taught to not really know that part of ourselves. Most people have no idea who they are at soul level, what their soul looks like. And this was me included. I really had no idea. Now, granted, when I found out, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And it kind of completes the puzzle. But I didn't really know what like flowed and came natural, yet felt fulfilling. I knew what my brain was skilled at, but it didn't have that, oh, I just love this work and I feel engaged in it and I feel like I'm serving a greater purpose in the world. I didn't feel that way. So it really just completed the picture. So when you know the energetic building blocks of your soul, your strengths, your gifts, you now know what things feel congruent and aligned and why, and what things feel hard or downright dull or boring. So this is where you really understand that just because you happen to be good at something, if it's not within who you're designed to be at soul level, it's not really going to feel all that wonderful for you. Now, there are people that do connect with a career that is fulfilling to them. Absolutely. And yes, they did stumble upon it. Maybe they had a more intuitive connection with themselves. I don't know. Some people know, but about 85% of Americans don't like what they're doing. They fell into their job, felt like they should be doing what they're doing, followed in family footsteps, but they don't like what they are doing. So the difference between those who really knew what they wanted to be and love the difference is that they love their work, they're soul aligned with it, versus though that thought it sounded good or chose it because you make a lot of money, maybe being a doctor or a lawyer, but yet they don't love their job. Right, so your purpose is a how you're doing what you're doing and who you are. It's not a specific one what thing. And if you think about this from a creative perspective, it can feel very constraining. I mean, imagine if when you were younger, someone told you, oh, you're going to be a forest ranger. That's all you can be. You're going to grow up and you're going to work out in the forest and hug animals and hug trees. Now that might be like super exciting for some people, but others might be like, what? I don't want to like be out there with the bugs and stuff like that. And it might feel really constraining, like, this is what I'm going to be doing forever. So especially for creatives, for artists, highly conscious people, if you believe that you have to pick one thing and do it forever, it doesn't really account for personal growth and evolving as a spiritual being. And it also doesn't account for your change in interests as you move through life. We have different interests at different stages in life. It's very constraining to think, nope, you got to do this and love this forever and ever. So from a soul level perspective, as a being that is meant to spiritually grow, that one job is not even practical. It doesn't even make sense. Okay, so just keep in mind that your purpose is actually how you are doing certain things, not that you need to be doing this one specific thing. Now, your purpose can call you to create your own business or work for yourself or be self-employed so you have flexibility and control your own shots. But many can shift what they're doing in their current profession and experience a world of difference. So I don't want you to think that, oh my gosh, my purpose is going to force me to go back to school or get an education. It's not about certifications. You may have already tried that, courses and being certified in aromatherapy or something because it's an interest. And you thought, hey, if I become certified in it, then maybe that will feel like my thing. So just keep in mind that we're looking at what are your soul level gifts and strengths, not your mind. Your mind is like a computer. It has its own set of strengths, which is part of the puzzle, which is why one card can't completely give you a nice picture of your purpose. But it's how you go about doing what you're doing. All right. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. I know it's a little bit vague in general, so I want to give some examples. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more what that might look like, and I'll use myself. But then we're also going to dive into rekindling your passion, because passion is part of the picture as well. And I don't want to leave it out. And a lot of times people are afraid to pursue their passion because of like irrational beliefs. And I want to go a little bit more into that. So don't forget, it's a live call-in show. You can chat with me on Facebook, call in 1-800-930-2819. I will see you after the short break.
Are you feeling the complexity of life? Do you feel that urge to step into something greater? Tune in to Nailed It Radio. Find your simplicity within your complexity with me, life coach Carrie Nail. Tune in each month on transformationtalkradio.com to discover what it means to use your full power to be the best version of yourself. Imagine stepping into the energy of saying yes to yourself and knowing you nailed it. For more information about me, visit carrienail.com.
Are you ready to invest in your best self? Join Sabrina Wright as she shares tools for creating joy and balance in your life every single day. Sabrina is here to help you become your greatest advocate and empower you to make decisions that will help you live your best life. The Live the Good Life Show, connecting your physical and spiritual self, every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Find Sabrina at the right, WRIGHT, balance.com.
Tune in to the show Heart Change Consciousness with me, Dr. Trish DeRocher, as stories of inspired activism come to life. Listening to conversations with your favorite authors, change makers, and many more who practice inspired spiritual activism and transform vulnerabilities into sources of strength. Let's be inspired together through my show Heart Change Consciousness on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Are you ready to branch out? Take a leap of faith. Tune in to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills on TransformationTalkRadio.com to equip, empower, and enlighten yourself. Erica will energize and excite you to power up your passionate dream that sets your soul on fire. So, get fearlessly ready and get powerfully rooted in your yes to live it up, love it up, and let it go. Visit GetRootedRadio.com.
Sometimes being human has its challenges. Our physical health falters, our spirits sag, our dreams don't immediately come to fruition. Welcome to the power of Maximum Medicine Radio. Join me, Doc Martin, in conversations that will blow your mind about healing. In our hit show, Doc Martin addresses the scientific with bridging to the mystical approaches to give you a new narrative about maximum medicine. In this live call-in show, we will journey into the extraordinary genius of the human body and talk about other beliefs that impact being your multidimensional self. We seek the seen and the unseen and explore the earthbound and the otherworldly, all with the purpose of calling forth the maximum you. To learn more about Doc Martin and Maximum Medicine, visit www.sharonmartinmd.com.
All right, welcome back. Before we jump into rekindling your passion, I want to just give an example, and I'm going to use myself because I know myself really well about greater purpose. So for me, my greater purpose is to use my words, whether written or spoken, to transform somebody's life, to help people change their perception about self, to look at something in a whole new light. So using that, and I did kind of give you the abridged version. There's a little bit more to it, but we don't have time right now to go in depth. So I just kind of condensed it a little bit. But if you think about it, I can use that purpose in so many different ways. It's how, as long as I am communicating, like speaking to you here or speaking to someone through my writing, and I am creating a situation that motivates, inspires, promotes transformation, then I feel like super excited about my work and I'm serving my purpose. So that's kind of what I mean about a how. It's not like, oh, it's communication. That's your divine gift. Go, be specifically a writer. No, it's using words, written and spoken, and that can look like however I want it to look. Okay, so it gives you a lot of flexibility when you know this about yourself to adapt it to many different environments, your interests, the things that you're passionate about. So speaking of passion, let's kind of jump into this segment. I was giving a speaking like our presentation to a networking group here locally in Annapolis. And as I was talking, a guy came up to me, this young guy, and he was like, oh gosh, I was so motivated and inspired by what you said. And I thought, I'm serving my purpose here. But he said, I'm in a sales job right now, and I really love to hike. And I would just love to take people on these hiking experiences. And he totally lit up as he was talking about this hobby and that he was so passionate about it. But yet, that might be something he's going to do in retirement because, he really needs the sales job to bring him job security. And I just thought, really? So first off, there is like zero job security. Just look at COVID, talk about something that is outside all of our control, and people lost work, even with companies that they may have been working for 15 years. I mean, there is no job security. And then my second thought was, my gosh, I don't really care for hiking, but I know enough about transformational experiences. I was like, have you ever Googled like transformational experiences for adventure seekers that include like hiking and kayaking and rock climbing? I'm like, do you know how much they charge for like a 4-day experience for these people? I'm like, it's insane. So this young man kind of succumbed to a life of, I'm going to do sales because he was afraid of fulfilling like his passionate work in the world. Now, granted, this is only, again, a piece of the picture. So I would have wanted to know, okay, let's look at your soul level gifts. What specifically about this hiking can you bring to the table? What is the part that's like in your zone of genius versus something that you might need like a partnership for, something like that. But it totally saddened me that he was not going to pursue that passionate work because he was afraid of job security and not making the money. And again, we're sometimes trained to think this way, to believe that we can't pursue our purpose and our passion because we won't make enough money, we won't have enough time, we'll have to go back to school and get another degree. And that is not always the case. It's just that fear of the unknown that derails us from pursuing what we are passionate about. And really money scarcity, it's like kind of like the number one. And if you really think about it, you have a much greater potential for more income when you are in control of what you're doing. I mean, if you're in a dead-end job that's capped at a certain salary, no matter what you do, no matter how brilliant you are, even if you are living your divine purpose in that job role, you're not going to make the money that you want because somebody else is controlling that for you. Now, there are a lot of positions that you can serve your purpose that have great opportunity for growth, and that's fine. But I just want you to think about it. If you are kind of hesitant about pursuing purpose and passion, what is that? What is that fear that's coming from your head, not from who you are at soul level? Because your soul is like, woo, I know what we're meant to do. Let's go do it. It's really your head that's getting in the way. Another thing about is like, what will people think? Like, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm such a flake because here I am. I taught elementary school. I went to middle school. I tried high school. I even got a master's degree thinking that if I taught a different subject, it would make a difference to children. Then I was like in web design, and then I was like a social worker in assisted living. And then I went and got a mental health degree. Like I collected degrees and certifications. Like you would go out and buy bread at the store. It's like, I was just like, oh, maybe this will be my thing. So, worried about what people think. And I went a little bit on a tangent there, but that is a concern. What will people think of me? I invested all this time and money and certifications and degrees. Am I just not supposed to use that? And trust me, like, I completely understand. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I went to school to get that license. I had to, do supervised clinical training for 2 years. I had to study for and take a board exam. I mean, it was a lot of work to get that. And now I'm not even technically using that license. It's just a credentialing thing for me because I'm not doing traditional therapy anymore. That really wasn't how I was meant to work with people. Because at soul level, another little peek into it, I am an energy worker. And I do love to work with, the cards and downloads that I get. But I can't really use that in clinical therapy where everything is like evidence-based and you kind of have to prove, the work that you're doing and diagnosing people. There were so many things that weren't a fit there. And I get now why. But I had to be okay with saying, I do have these degrees, but I can't let fear of what will happen if I, retire from that and I work. So it's like I had to get over myself, right? So sometimes in order to step into your purpose and your passion, you got to get over yourself. You have to be willing to maybe let things go in order to fully step into what you were created to do. Okay. So again, I'm not saying that you have to give up your current profession to rekindle your passion. Sometimes you can tweak what you're doing or slightly shift roles within the organization, and it makes a huge difference for you. You might need to ask for a different kind of creative work. Remember, if we don't ask, people don't necessarily know what we need. And for some, maybe doing this part-time that you're passionate about is totally sufficient. Maybe there is a day job that you're not willing to give up because of, health insurance, just whatever reason, but doing part-time work, like doing this side thing is all that you're seeking. So this is going to look different for everyone, depending on your interest, your strengths, your building blocks. But I just want you to be aware of what you might be telling yourself that sabotages your goal, that sabotages your dream of having a career that you love, to feel purposeful in your work, that totally embodies your strengths, your values, and even that transforms someone else's life. I mean, even if you're selling used tires and you love it, yes, many people need those. They want them. They go out and buy them. It's what's in their budget. Okay, so just be very aware of the self-sabotage that can happen. And I almost think people are afraid to engage in purposeful and passionate work because it's almost like they don't believe that it could actually happen. Like, how could this be true? Most people hate their jobs. This is just how life is. This is what you do. You were born, you go to school, you study a trade, you work, and then you retire, and then you get to do fun things after you retire. Well, let me tell you, these days I'm reading stories about people, especially again with COVID, people who have passed on at an early age. There is no, when I retire, I'll do, things that I'm passionate about. Or I'll maybe I'll start my own business where I can finally, fulfill my joy of XYZ. People don't make it to that point. And so I often ask myself, am I doing what's important. Like, and I know this is like a little bit morbid, but like if I was going to leave planet Earth tomorrow and return back to wherever my soul came from, would I be content? Would I feel like I've made a difference? Will I feel like I've served my purpose, that I've used my words, written or spoken, to help motivate, inspire people, to help them transform themselves into a better version of who they are? And I don't want to say better version, just transform themselves into who they truly are, know themselves at soul level. All right. And this is why a card can't effectively portray this. And it's funny because I do see card readings about like know your soul's purpose, and like someone pulls a tower and it's like this crumbling down building and they're like, what the hell does that mean? Am I supposed to be in demolition? You know, sometimes just looking at one thing for your purpose doesn't paint that picture, and it doesn't make sense. Okay. So I want you to really think about purpose in a different way. How have you been thinking about it before? What has maybe shifted for you so you can start looking at it and how am I doing things? How does that look for me? And what does that feel like? And I also want you to think about your passion. What is it that you love to do that maybe you aren't doing right now because your job is restricting you, or your current profession, like they don't know that you want to do that piece? Sometimes you have to ask for it, like, oh, I really want to try this. You know, can you give me a trial period? Maybe you are being called to start your own business and you're like, well, let me, start out. You don't have to like quit your job right now. You can, dabble in it or step into it slowly. But, what is it about what you're doing that feels right, that doesn't feel right? And are you truly doing what you're passionate about? And it is possible. If you don't think it is, maybe do a little thinking around that. What are these beliefs that I'm holding on to that are no longer serving me? Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about how to uncover your soul's purpose so that you can feel fulfilled. Say that over and over again real fast. So you can feel fulfilled and inspired by your work in the world. I will see you in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack, and yes, our office is open, and we are doing strictly phone consultations. If you would like to call and get tuned up, it's perfect time with everything that's going on and things aren't calming down. Pick up the phone and give us a call. It's quick and easy, and it's fun. If you'd like more information on it, you can look at maryjanemack.com or call our office at 888-777-4232.
Welcome to Light Body Wisdom with internationally known light body whisperer Grace Home. She will make you laugh and yawn as you release lifetimes of trauma and begin to feel much lighter. Your divine gifts may be activated, allowing you to weave light into the fabric of the world. Are you ready to be your own light and shine? For more information about Grace, visit gracegHome.com. That's gracegHOM.com. Are you ready to let go of the I can'ts that are holding you down? Valerie Trujillo invites you to join her community on a mission to collectively heal as a tribe, where your vulnerability is heard and reciprocated. So tune in to Love and Light with the Crystal Blue Oracle every second and fourth Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about Valerie and her work, visit crystalblueoracle.com. Transition, simultaneously the most difficult and vital part of the human experience. Without change, how would we grow? Tune in to Grounding into Your Radiance with Stacey Barber every second and fourth Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Step into your truth and allow the light into your life. For more information about Stacie and her services, visit staciebarber.com. That's Stacie, STACIE Barber.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. Hey, are you loving Shades of Spirit Radio? Well, mark your calendars. Shades of Spirit goes live in a new time spot every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time on TransformationTalkRadio.com. What? Yeah, you heard that right. Psychic medium Jamie and Spirit Walker Nicole, 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Live readings, giveaways, oracle cards, and lots of fun. So be there. Call into the show at 1-800-930-2819 and visit shadesofspirit.com.
Take the power of essential oil healing to the next level with the Essential Light Insight Deck, containing 61 oracle cards. Each card holds a painting and message that captures the spirit of an essential oil. By drawing a card, you'll illuminate the spiritual healing capacity of plants and transform your day. For more information about the Essential Light Insight Deck and Gen Reapa, visit Thriveology.com.
Hello and welcome back. We're going to talk about the how now, how to uncover your soul's purpose. This is the last calling too. If you're watching live on Facebook or you would like to give us a call in. Hello, Kat, who has joined us and is shuffling here in my lap. Give us a call, 1-800-930-2819. Last chance. If you're looking for a little inspiration or divine guidance around your purpose. Okay, so let's talk about the how. I did talk a little bit about don't pull a card and be like, oh, my purpose is to go be a demolition expert because I got the Tower. There's a lot of components to it. So what we're really looking at who you are at soul level. We're looking a little bit about like who you identify with from like a mind, ego, personality perspective, because we really can't ignore that. I know that in some spiritual communities, they want you to kind of like denounce the ego and let's pretend it's not there, but it's really a part of who you are. And if you understand it and it's in your mind's strengths, then you can also work with it. I mean, you were given a mind and ego for a reason. I personally don't think it's something that like we're supposed to get rid of. It'd be like, oh, I have 2 arms on this body, but I don't feel like it's spiritual. So I'm going to pretend that one of them doesn't exist. And I'm not going to use, I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. So it's knowing your soul level gifts and strengths, knowing your personality and your mind strengths. It's also knowing what you're passionate about, what you're interested in, also what you value. Right? Values play a huge role in it. We often take on values that we were raised with that if you really think about, you may say, you know what, I really don't value this anymore. This never really was mine to begin with. So values do play a role. So when I'm working with people one-on-one, we're going through all of these different things to paint a picture. You know those like Venn diagrams are like little circles, and in the middle there's that where it all intersects. It kind of looks like that, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to pull in all the moving parts so that you have a picture that feels complete, which is why like the personality test, you don't feel complete because it's only part of the picture. So we're really trying to fill in that diagram. So the first most essential piece is understanding who you are at soul level, that overarching purpose. Again, for me, it is using words written and spoken to transform, to help people look at themselves in a whole different light. It's the soul level strengths and gifts and how you best operate. That is like the foundation. It's, kind of looking under the hood. The other stuff is the accessories of the car, but your soul level attributes, your energetic building blocks, that is the engine of the car. That is really that driving force, because really when you align to that, that is when it was going to help you create the most abundance for yourself, whatever abundance to you looks like. Okay. So it's understanding who you are at soul level. It's not what you happen to be good at. Sometimes what you happen to be good at isn't even part of the picture. You just happen to be good at it. Yay, go you, gold star. But it's not even something that you want to bring into your work in the world. It's not what your education states. It's not what your mind is saying will look good or what sounds good. And so many people have no idea. They don't make the connections. This is a good one. A lot of people think that their superpower is actually something that they're supposed to suppress because that's what they've been taught. I remember as a little girl, people would tell my parents that I was chatty. Now, I don't remember this. Like, for some reason, I thought like I was this shy little girl. But I guess when I got to know people, I would just like start babbling on. And I remember one year for Christmas, I wanted a tape recorder with like a microphone so I could go around and record people talking. I wanted to talk and I wanted other people to talk. So I somehow had this idea that I talked too much. And while it didn't suppress me in, speaking my opinion, there was still this thing of, oh, you're really chatty. You talk too much. Sometimes you ramble on and you get off track and go on tangents. But you know what? That's how I'm designed. And that is actually my superpower. So sometimes in this work, people find relief because they're like, oh my gosh, I thought that this was something wrong with me. I thought that I was not supposed to do this because other people said, oh, this isn't good. They put their judgment on it. So that does happen a lot. Now, how do I look these things up? Well, that's where the intuitive practitioner comes in. That's where I use the tarot cards. I use the Akashic records to look up and basically read you at soul level. That's the best way I know how to describe it. I'm basically making what is unseen for you seen and helping you make the connections so that it all makes sense. It's basically uncovering what you aren't consciously aware of, because the reality is if you are consciously aware of your soul level gifts, then you wouldn't be interested in this topic. You would know your purpose and you'd be doing your glorious work in the world. You wouldn't need that. So the magic is using the tools that were given in order to uncover those things. And so I created a being doing session. It's a 60-minute one-on-one with me for those interested in diving deeper into their soul's purpose and gifts. We talk about the energetic building blocks of the soul. We talk about values, outdated beliefs, and we make adjustments to what you're currently doing so that it's more in alignment and feels more in flow and is more in tune with that greater purpose. So it's like a big moment of clarity, like, aha, now this makes sense. Now that's the complete picture. So we go over a lot of information about who you are, and then take a good look at what are you doing in your current job role, so that we can experience those misalignments and what can be tweaked for greater fulfillment. So if you're interested, you can find that at www.cwtu.net/being, B-E-I-N-G, doing, D-O-I-N-G. So cwtu.net/being doing. Okay, so just a reminder, this life is way too short to just go through the motions Monday through Friday. not doing the work in the world that you were divinely created to do, that brings you joy and allows your creativity to flow. You are designed to serve a very important purpose in the world, and it's time for you to uncover what that looks like if you don't know it. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time on Coffee with the Universe here on Transformation Talk Radio every third Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Coffee with the Universe with Laura Goldstein. Thank you for taking a break and giving yourself this time and joining Laura for Coffee with the Universe. Knowing yourself and listening to your inner guidance are the first steps to creating more joy, fulfillment, abundance, and peace. Make sure to come back next time on TransformationTalkRadio.com to do more live card pulls, share tips, and ideas to help you let go of things that are no longer working so that you can truly be yourself. If you'd like more information or to set up a being doing guidance session with Laura, please visit lauragoldstein.com. That's lauragoldstein.com. Don't forget, next time, visit with Laura on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.